Every year, investors file thousands of complaints against their brokers in FINRA's Dispute Resolution Forum. I'm here talking to Jenice Malecki, an attorney who represents investors, about the steps leading up to brokers having to defend themselves in arbitration. Jenice, so what kinds of claims do you hear most often when investors walk into your office?
I think the common thread amongst these claims is that the client either didn't understand the product or didn't understand the trading activity, and that really boils down to them not understanding the risks and they're not expecting the loss that was incurred in their account. And I think that really comes from a lack of education of the customer, because I think a broker really needs to have sit-downs with clients, not just giving them a prospectus, which I've found in my arbitration hearings, most brokers haven't even read. So to expect a customer to read a prospectus and understand the investment and the markets in is a bit difficult, and it really will lead to claims more than anything else. A broker needs to have sit-downs with the client so that they really understand what it is that they're doing in the market.
And so what distinguishes a strong claim from a weaker one?
A strong claim is where the trading activity doesn't make sense in two contexts. It either doesn't make sense for the client, so an older person in speculative investments, or it doesn't make sense in the market. So, for example, in 2007, we knew that the financial markets and the real estate markets were softening. So if there are a lot of recommendations in real estate and finance in that period, I'd really have to ask, why, and was it a large percentage of the client's assets, and why is that? And how informed was the client about what really would be the speculative nature of such investments in that market at that time?
So do you find that most cases end up settling before they go to a hearing?
I would say that most cases do settle before they go to a hearing, but it's driven by, I think, two factors, the clients or the attorneys. In some cases, personally, what I like to do is make sure that my clients always have an option. And I think that that's important for both respondents and claimants to figure out whether you can settle the case or not settle the case, and to know going in that you tried or you didn't try. So settlement conferences, mediations, occur on a parallel track to arbitration, and they're voluntary, so no one's forced to settle at a mediation. So it's a really good way to assess your case and how it's going to play out in an arbitration hearing. So I like to try mediations to settle cases, and most mediations are successful, but not all.
So if an investor does have to go to a hearing, how much time does it take for the entire case to work its way through, the first meeting with you and the client to a panel issuing an award?
We do a lot of work up front on our cases, so it takes between 1 and 3 months, I'd say, for a case to get filed. We meet the client, we look at all of their documents, all documents that we can get our hands on that they would have to produce in the case we want to look at before we file a claim. We also research the market that the client was investing in and the news stories that were going on during that period, because we want to see if the actual transactions made sense at the time they were recommended. After that process, once we file a statement of claim, it takes about 3 months for the broker to respond, generally, broker or firm. And the process generally takes, in its trial-like format, between a year and a half to come to conclusion. A little quicker for the elderly people, because there are rules about elderly and sick people can get a quicker hearing.
Great. Thanks, Jenice.
Thank you.